Hello friends, welcome to Sociology for competitive exams. In this video, we're going to have a look at the pattern variables, the concept given by Talcott Parsons and Edward A. Shields. They wrote a book called General Theory of Action in 1951. To refer to make this video, I referred these two books, which is very interesting books, which you can read and you can get depth knowledge on the concept of pattern variables. First book is a classical and contemporary sociological theory by Appelruth Edels. Then second sociological theory by George Ritzer. Before getting into the video, many viewers are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe to this channel. Then only you will receive my efforts as video through notification. Let's get started. The concept of pattern variables. Before getting into the pattern variables concept, we must understand social system and the action system in the society. As a social scientist, we used to address society as a social system. In social system, we can see a number of actions by the individuals. Here, to understand action system, I have given an example. When an individual wants to attain his goal, he needs choices. Through the choices, he will be playing a number of roles in order to achieve the goal. If we take a MBBS student who wants to become a doctor, so he needs to choose a MBBS degree as his subject. After 5 years, he can choose. He can become a doctor by playing his student role. In simple, action system is nothing but it's a system where individual attain their objectives through the choices, which is also known as roles. Here he has given the definition for pattern variables. It is refers to set of 5 choices to play the role in order to achieve the dream of the individual. Next slide, I have given the pattern variables. It is also defined by the Talcott person as choices between pairs of alternatives. As I said, if you take a MBBS student, he can complete his doctor degree or MBBS degree after completing 12th standard. He can also complete his MBBS 5 years by using BSc biology as a minimum qualification. So there are choices to the individual. It is individual's choice or wish to choose the choices to in order to attain the object. Okay, so these fives are the pattern variables given by Talcott Parsons. First is self orientation versus collective orientation. It is emotion based choices. When an individual is emotional, there are two alternative pairs of choices which he can choose, either self orientation or collective orientation. So we will discuss the terms elaborately in the upcoming slides. First, we will list out these pattern variables. Second is affectivity versus affective neutrality. It is interest based. When an individual having interest on something, whether he going to be affective in nature or affective neutral in nature, that we will see in the upcoming slide, as I said. Third is particular versus universalism. It is rules based choice. And ascription versus achievement. It is status based choice. Finally, we have diffuseness versus specificity. It is based on range of relationship. Range of relationship is like social relationship with the friends. We have a number of familial relationship in the rural areas, very less number of familial relationship in cities. So these fives are very important concept which is given by Talcott persons. To recollect these pattern variables, I have just rechanged the order of the pattern variables. We can easily remember by that. Here I have given in the bottom of the slide mnemonics we used to call, that is supple. Okay, SAPAD. S stands for self orientation, collective orientation. Similarly, ABAD, which you can find in the page. Okay, now we'll go to the elaborate explanation, or we can say a brief explanation. Particularism versus universalism. It is rules based. In this case, the action is based on general standards, universal laws, and the moral rules. For example, when a child or a boy is involving illegal drug trade, it is crime in India because we have IPC sections, and it is defined by Supreme Court. It is illegal in nature. So, if a person is involving illegal trade, drug trading, it is crime. The same child will be giving care by the mom, that she will never agree that he involved in crime. Since he is emotional, she is having particularly attached with the child, she will be telling that even though you involved in criminal activity, you are my child. Okay, that is called particularism. So action is based on priority and attached in particularism. So this is the example for particularism and universalism. In simple term, when it is universalism, it is universal in nature. Rules are followed by the entire world, so I have to follow as an individual. Another choice I have, whatever society is following, no, I never bother. It's my life. I will live however I like. Okay, that is called particularism. So particularism is kind of priority and attachment to you. Universalism, it's general standard we are attaching to the society. Next is ascription versus achievement. It is status oriented. In sociology, we have these two types of status. So Talcott Person used this status to describe the two different choices. The ascription choice is action based on given attributes, which is given by birth. Example: when an individual wants to get married, he thinks that okay, I completed 21, I'm biologically fit to marry someone who I like. That is ascription in nature. If you take achievement, the same person is telling, even though I completed 21 years, I just want to financially settled, I want to earn more money, I want to get good job, I want to buy a car, I want to buy a bungalow or a home. That is achievement based. After achieving this only, I will get married. If it is his ambition or goal, he will choose this choice, achievement choice, as a wish. Okay, so in ascription versus achievement, Talcott Person explain about the status of the individual in the pertinent variables. And finally, we have diffuseness versus specificity. It is about range of relationship. If you take specificity as a choice, the individual action will be based on specific guidelines. The individual will have rules and regulation. The individual has to follow the rules and guidelines. They should not restrict, they should not go away from the guidelines. For example, if we take in cities, especially in supermarket, this buyer seller relationship, the seller will never break the rules. The seller has to ask the basics needs of the customer, and the customer will discuss about the price and features of the product. It is restricted in nature. If you take the village weekly markets, there the individual buyers and sellers will have a close relationship, like they used to have open discussion, like where are you coming from, and what's your native, or how many siblings you have, did you have food. So he, in diffuseness, people will have no guidelines. They can talk whatever they want to talk. Here, no guidelines at all. So this is the simplest example to explain the diffuseness specificity. In simple time, I can say another example. In diffuseness, we can find a number of a range of relationships. Like in joint family, we can have uncle, aunt, and grandma, grandpa, and other so many relationship in the rural area, that is diffuseness. In specificity, if you take in city, we used to live in a nuclear family where we can have only mom and dad siblings. It is restricted, it is specified in nature. So Talcott person used this range of relationship in terms of diffuseness, specificity, choices. In If you take the future of pattern variables, Talcott person says the pattern variables are dichotomy in nature. Dichotomy is refers to the term is refers to divided into two. If you take pattern variables, the five pattern variables are divided into two. For example, self, we have universalism, particularism, then affectivity, affective neutrality, then ascription, achievement. Likewise, the pattern variables are divided into two, that is dichotomy in nature. Second is individuals are in dilemma in choosing the variables. If you take an individual, whenever he is getting particular situation which is emotional, he is confused whether he gonna choose emotionally strong character or choice, or emotionally weak choice. Okay, so what Talcott person says that the pattern variable is the solution to choose these choices in a given situation in the society. Third is the choices actions are shaped by the three systems. What he says that the choices will be chosen by the individuals based on the personality and culture, social background of the individual. Okay, here he says that if the personality of the individual is very strong, he will go for emotionally strong choices. Okay, if a particular person is comes from a specific culture, he will choose the choices based on the culture of the individual. If a person is economically socially strong, he will choose based on his nature. uh, he Based on his character, he will choose the variables by his wish. Okay, now I have divided the pattern variables by traditional and modern society. If you take traditional society, there will be primary relationship. Primary relationship is refers to close relationship. Here we can find the village members or village dwellers will have collective orientation. If an individual got problem, the entire village members or dwellers will come together to fight against the evils. Okay, that is a collective orientation. If you take affectivity, it's about emotional. This village individuals, village people will have more emotions, they will have more affectivity. Once a person is having a issue, they others also will have feel that okay, this is my problem, like that. So third is particularism. If you take a traditional society, it is particular in nature, where we can find only one religious people, where people will talk only one language, where people will have same culture, they never have different culture, language or religion in the traditional society. Then ascription, as I said, it's biology, or it's given by birth. So when a person comes from a particular tribe community, other tribe community is converting into the another this community, tribal community, he cannot get into that tribal community. Okay, so they have closed social system, nobody can get into that ascription status. Finally, diffuseness. As I said, in this traditional society, people will have n number of relationship, like distant relatives, uncle, aunt, grandma, grandpa and grandchild, father-in-law, mother-in-law and sister-in-law, daughter-in-law, n number of relationship which we can find in the traditional society. In other hand, if you take modern society, we have secondary relationship, it is against to primary relationship. For example, city. If you take city life, they are very selfish. We can not all city dwellers are selfish, but most of them are very self oriented in nature. They just want to whatever happen around us, no problem, I will complete my job, my work, my family, my money, my car, my home. They are, this is their nature. This is uh, we can find in the urban society. Second is affective neutrality. They are not emotion, very emotion. If you take primary, if you take traditional society, they are affective in nature. If it is modern society, they are affective neutral, affective neutrality. Here they are not emotional. They know how to handle the emotions. They always brain followers. Third is universalism. In universalism, here we can find a number of cultured people, different language speakers, different religion followers, different geographical people who comes from different part of the territory. That is universalism. Next is achievement. If you take modern society, here most of the people give importance to the achievement. If you take rich people who are in the top level, other people who is low level getting more salary, he is elevating his status to the top level. He can reach the top level by getting more money through the salaries. So he can earn more money, he can get good salary, he can get into the top level. So achievement is open in nature. If you take traditional society, it is ascription, it is closed in nature. Nobody get into the particular caste or particular religion. Even though they converted, they will not be treated equally. In modern society, if they have money, there will be class, higher class. They can easily get into the open system called as class. Everybody can be treated as equal person. Next is specificity. As I said, specific. The guidelines will be there. They will follow some guidelines. There will be a range of relationship. Uh, a lack of range of relationship which we can find in the modern society. In specificity, there will be nuclear family. There will be a less range of relationship. So we can define modern society has specificity in nature. This is very important slide. This dichotomy first defined by Ferdinand Tonnies. So after Ferdinand Tonnies, this dichotomy is explained by Emile Durkheim. After Emile Durkheim, Talcott Parsons used to uh, explain this concept. So first this dichotomy is used by Ferdinand Tonnies, second is Emile Durkheim, third is Talcott Parsons. So here in this video I will be comparing the Ferdinand Tonnies concept of Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft with Talcott Parsons Burton variables. So what Ferdinand Tonnies says, what is Gemeinschaft? It is a unique term in sociology. He defined Gemeinschaft as a community and Gesellschaft as a purposive association. To recollect this for Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft, people used to confuse. So I'm just telling the tips to recollect the term. Gemeinschaft. If you take Gemeinschaft, there is M, right? So if you take community, there is M. So community is equal to Gemeinschaft. If you take Gesellschaft, there is S. After GES we have S, so in association we have S. So simply we can recollect, when there is a Gemeinschaft, it is similar to community. When there is Gesellschaft, it is association oriented. So now I have compared the Talcott person pattern variables and Tonnies Gesellschaft and Gemeinschaft. As I said, Gemeinschaft is community oriented, so community is similar to traditional society, and Gesellschaft is similar to association. Association is similar to modern society. So simply you can differentiate the Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft comparing the traditional society with the modern society. You can read it out. In Gemeinschaft society, we can find collective orientation, affectivity, and particularism, ascription, diffuseness. In modern society, which means in Gesellschaft society, we can find self-orientation. In Gesellschaft society, people will be very selfish. They are affective neutral. They are emotionally neutral, which means then universalism, which we can find in Gesellschaft, achievement in Gesellschaft, specificity in Gesellschaft. If you feel it is very difficult to understand, please go through this video twice or thrice. You will definitely get depth knowledge on this concept. So now I'm ending or winding up the presentation. Watch my other videos. For more new videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be back in the next video. I'm Mohammed, signing off.